What do you think about these consumer dog DNA tests?
I just really think that people need to take them all with a grain of salt, but they
Right.
should know that these are companies, they're selling you a test, they have a vested interest in making sure that you are happy with the results of that test. So keep that in mind when you're interpreting the results, and that you're not necessarily the most transparent system in the world.
There's a profit motive involved.
There's a definite profit motive involved.
Like Loki, Acumetrics doesn't give us Quinn's results for over 11 weeks, but we have them now. They say 100% Chihuahua.
As you guys know, I don't typically make videos about dogs and cats on this channel. I mostly try to stick with horses or equines just because that is my main area of expertise. However, in today's video, we're going to be diving into pretty much all animals, largely dogs, cats, and horses, that have available DNA test kits for over-the-counter usages. To be honest, in my opinion, animal DNA test kits are becoming a huge unregulated problem within pretty much the entire pet industry, and now it's starting to leak over into the horse industry as well. This all begs the question, is there any such thing as legitimate animal DNA testing for people who really have concerns or questions about their animals? Which is the question that we're going to be answering in today's video. But before we do that, I want to say a massive thank you to today's sponsor, which is Animal Nutrition Calculator. Essentially, if you're unfamiliar, Animal Nutrition Calculator is here to simplify your animal's nutritional needs and requirements. It's significantly cheaper than going to a veterinarian. This website really does all the dirty work and all the hard work for you. All you have to do is go to the calculator that you need for your animal, whether it's any of the premium horse calculators, dog calculators, cat calculators, or even their small pet. And it just gives you tailored nutritional information like your animal's protein, fat, fiber, calcium, whatever type of requirements they might need. For more exotic pets like sugar gliders, they even have detailed information on the diets that they should be getting, going down to even the fruit sugars. The whole goal is just to improve animal nutrition across the board, because a lot of people have no idea about their animal's nutrition, and to be quite frank, most pet food brands don't know anything about animal nutrition either. I mean, you take hamsters and gerbils as a good example. A lot of the pet food companies on the market, matter of fact, pretty much all of them, don't create adequate diets for hamsters and gerbils. And the average consumer would never know that. This is why it's important to not just go and buy a bag of pet food off the shelf and take a brand at face value when they don't really know what they're doing. It's better to educate yourself on all of your animal's nutritional information. And guys, seriously, these calculators are $3.99 to $4.99. They're literally cheaper than a cup of coffee, and it gives you instant results on your animal's nutrition. And I also love the brand mission of really trying to improve animal nutrition across the board, because there is a huge epidemic of unhealthy animals. Also, a reminder, they are having a giveaway. They do giveaways every single month, and this month for September, they're giving away a horse grooming kit. So thank you again to Animal Nutrition Calculator for sponsoring today's video. They are absolutely incredible. Again, they just launched their small pet calculator, so you guys can check them out. It's going to be the first link in the description down below, literally just animalnutritioncalculator.com. Due to the increase of rescues and adoptions of many different species of animals, there has been a huge increase of demand for people who want to know more about the animal they adopted. And this is what created the market of over-the-counter animal DNA test kits. And I actually really find their marketing tactics to be quite predatory, no matter which company you go to, because they're basically preying on the average consumer who just wants to know more about their animal and potentially get their animal registered, or know the history, or maybe know any sort of issues with the animal's health. So what constitutes a sketchy over-the-counter DNA test kit for animals? Really just any test kit that is being promoted to you by a company that's not backed by veterinarians or any sort of veterinary school like Texas A&M or UC Davis, etc. And the reason I say that is because almost every single one of these companies, if not all of them, for cats, dogs, and horses, require that you send a photograph along with a DNA sample in order for them to accurately give you results on what type of animal you have or what the breed or genetic makeup is. This is something that real genetic and DNA testing should not and does not require. I have seen several companies, however, claim that they are ISAG accredited, which for those of you who don't know, ISAG is the International Society of Animal Genetics. If anybody does the slightest bit of research, you would know that ISAG does not accreditate anybody. They don't go around and give accreditations to specific labs, so anyone who's making a claim like that is just blatantly lying.
Eleanor says these companies detect breeds by comparing DNA to the genetics of dogs already in their database.
Consumers are making their own decisions when they purchase these tests, but I do think that it is important for the companies to be transparent about the fact that there isn't that external validation, that these are tests that they've developed themselves, that they're selling themselves, and that they're the ones that are actually making the claims about their accuracy, and it hasn't been independently vetted by somebody that is not part of that company.
As the years went on and as more and more people started buying these DNA test kits, a lot of people started realizing how sketchy or inaccurate they were. Many people would even send these companies a photograph of a completely different dog than the hair sample or DNA sample that they sent the company, and the company would tell them that the results equaled the dog in the photograph instead of the actual DNA sample that they sent. Essentially, there is an incredible lack of regulation among this industry, and basically they are charging people to send in a DNA sample of their animals, but just basing the results off of the photos that the people send and just collecting DNA. It's actually really funny how wildly off a lot of these DNA companies can be with the results that they give people. Another selling point that they tell people, which is very predatory to get people to buy these products, especially in the horse industry, is that you can potentially have your horse registered with a organization like AQHA or Fauna, dependent upon what the DNA test comes back as, which is just not true. I've never in my life seen an organization that accepted a DNA test kit certificate, stamped by a company, as something even close to legitimate. One of the sketchiest companies I've seen thus far in the horse industry is one called DNA My Horse. They have one here in the US and in the UK, and I've seen their ads all over the place. They really come across, to me personally, my opinion, as a scam. They tell people all the time, learn, know, find out exactly what your horse's breed is, get your horse registered with an organization, find out potential health problems or ancestry. These are all words that they use to market their company and prey upon people who have grade horses or people who have adopted horses or maybe want to get their horses registered. Also on their website, they have, is your lab licensed for equine DNA testing? And they say, yes, the lab we use for testing is ISAG accredited. Again, there's no such thing as an ISAG accreditation. They even have that on the official ISAG website. This company, along with pretty much all of the other horse DNA testing companies, requires you to also send in a photograph of your horse along with the DNA sample, which, keep in mind, you guys, there is no scientific reason to need to send in a photograph along with a DNA sample. AKA, if your horse looks like a Friesian, they're probably going to tell you it's a Friesian. But I went a little bit further, and I wanted to specifically ask DNA My Horse about the accuracy of their test results. Because keep in mind, never once do they actually give you guys a legitimate answer as to how accurate their tests are. This is so that way they don't have to be held liable for producing inaccurate results. For any of you guys wondering what their response to me was, they deleted my comment and blocked me immediately, like within 5 minutes, which is just so funny because It's such a simple question. If you have a legitimate business, you should very easily be able to answer those questions. So in conclusion, is there any such thing as a way to have your animal accurately DNA tested? To be honest, not really. The only places that you can get a pretty good idea for what your animal is genetically speaking would be a veterinarian or an actual vet university, like UC Davis has a genetic testing program, and so does Texas A&M. I went through Texas A&M. I really liked it. Some people have mixed results with it because there's no such thing as a perfectly accurate DNA genetic test. But when you go through an actual accredited AVMA school or a veterinary laboratory that is also AVMA accredited, they're able to DNA test with legitimate DNA and a significantly larger DNA database. And the information is also being interpreted by veterinary professionals and scientists. All I can say is no animal DNA test is ever 100% accurate, but you want to, if you're going to spend the money, go with the most accurate results and testing that you're possibly going to get, which is not going to be from a company that sells you an over-the-counter DNA test. So thank you guys so much for watching today's video. Let me know your thoughts and opinions in the comment section down below. A massive thank you again to Animal Nutrition Calculator for sponsoring me. Check them out, but I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye.